seems like a victory. That's just terrible. That and they also said, I don't know if you read across the screen, that it's still hundreds inside the actual church or in the school, because they're still trying to reunify people with their loved ones. So even though they have transported some people, they did say that there was still more people inside. So I want to share with you this article that I just found that was updated about an hour ago, just to show you guys more information about the shooter as far as her identity. And maybe we can find more as we're on here. Okay, so here's the article that was shared by News Channel 5, which is an awesome source. I love News Channel 5. So no shade against News 4, News 2, News 17, because I check y'all out as well. But I just love Channel 5 and how they cover information. But this information about what they know about the shooter. So before I play his video, I'm just going to read this part and then we can play that portion of the video. But as it says, 3 children and 3 adults are unalive in Nashville after a shooting at the Covenant School. Metro Nashville Police Department has identified the shooter as a 28-year-old Nashville white woman. So we have learned the race of the woman, and we also learned that it's not a teenage woman as they were stating before, but it is a grown white female. Her name hasn't been released. In Metro Nashville Police Department, Chief John Drake says she was also a former student at the school. So okay, so now we know that it is not a teenager, but in fact a 28-year-old woman. It's a white woman as well, and that she's also a former student at the Covenant School, at the Christian school. Wow, that is sad. They are still investigating her at this time, but during the shooting, she did have an assault rifle and a pistol. At first, I thought they said she had 3 weapons, but I guess now they're saying an assault rifle and a pistol. And they say while the mass, I thought this part was interesting. That's why I want to share this part. They said while the majority of mass shootings in the United States are at the hands of men, because mind you, this is a female, not a man. Police have identified the shooter as a female teen, with that, which that is incorrect, because if you see above, it is a 28-year-old Nashville white woman, as you can see. So they are still doing, so they're basically saying, according to data, only 3 women have been responsible for a mass shooting in the country since 1982. 3 women, y'all. So I don't know if she included in the 3 or if she makes the 4th. But they said 3 women since 1982 were responsible for mass shootings. And here we are in 2023 before Easter, and a white female is responsible for a mass shooting at a Christian school. This is just terrifying. Okay, so now I'm going to play that video up above that I was talking about. And maybe he's going to give us more information on the shooter, on the female white shooter.
NPD needs in this continued investigation will be provided. Can't not stress enough how seamlessly that worked to have a conversation and a decision to be made quickly and appropriately as far as how the case was going to be handled from here. Hats off to Chief Drake and to Director Roush. I also want to thank Chief Swan and our federal partners as well. While I cannot comment about the ongoing nature of the investigation, really impressed with the work that's being done by law enforcement.
Yes, good afternoon. First, let me just say, as everyone else, what a tragic day here in Nashville. So our hearts and our prayers do go out to all the family members and also the first responders that actually made this call. As always, the fire department and the Office of Emergency Management, our job is to support. And we were here at the beginning and we'll be here until the end. We just ask that everyone, again, as it was said earlier about prayer, we ask for that. And the ongoing support that's needed from our standpoint is to give support in any area that's asked for on the scene. So again, we thank you. And from this point forward, we'll just continue on with our mission and try to bring some type of closure and resolution. Thank you.
I anticipate there will be another briefing at or before 4 o'clock. We will entertain 2 or 3 questions at this moment before these gentlemen have to go back to the scene to continue their work.
Chief, you identified the shooter in this case yet?
Yes, we have identified the suspect. It's a 28-year-old female white, actually a Nashvilleian or lives in the Nashville area. We are having ongoing investigation as it pertains to her at this time.
Located her place where she lived, and you have officers there?
We have.
Was she wearing body armor?
Was she wearing body armor? I can't say that far into the investigation. I don't remember seeing it, but I can't say for certain if she had body armor on or not.
Does she have any connection to the church?
From my initial findings is that at one point she was a student at that school, but unsure what year, all of that. But that's what I've been told so far.
Did you give any word on social media, or has the social media been examined at this point?
The investigations are still ongoing at this point. Our federal partners, our state partners, we're all looking into that to see exactly. This is still fluid at the time, but we're looking at everything.
Did anybody pull a fire alarm? You know?
Don't remember a fire alarm going out. I was told there were kids that evacuated into a wood line. They had the presence of mind to do that and to go to a fire hall. Once we arrived on scene, we had everyone move to First Baptist Church, Woodmont. And that way we could get parents and children reunited and then ultimately make the notification on the 3 kids. So.
Do you know yet if the side door she entered in was locked?
There was a door that was entered. All doors were locked to our understanding, and how exactly she got in at this point is still under investigation. There is a vehicle that was nearby that gave us clues as into who she was, and but as stated, that investigation is still ongoing.
Did the school have school shooter protocol?
They did have protocol. To my understanding, we had, unfortunately, 3 kids that were tragically hurt. It could have been far, far worse.
Okay, so that was that. So that was a little update that I had found. Okay, sorry guys. I was getting more information. Yes, my sound was off for a reason. I was getting some updated information on the alleged, though this is alleged information because I have not, I'm still searching for it, but I have been told that allegedly, now I need to get an alleged banner. I need to get an alleged banner. Let's see. Allegedly. I like this girl funny. I'm for real. Okay, let this roll across. Okay, y'all. So allegedly, and we finna go find this information right now. But allegedly, they said someone said that it's a 28-year-old. You know, the news said female, but someone said that it was. I don't even want to say it yet, y'all, until I find out for sure. Because I don't want to get clapped for saying crazy. But it starts with a T. What they're alleging, the victim, I mean, not the victim, the shooter, 28-year-old female, white female shooter, is a T word. And I'm looking for that now. So hold on. Okay, I'm just gonna go on and say it, but I'm gonna say it once. They are alleging that the shooter was a trans, and that's all. I'm just gonna say it that one time. So if you called it, you called it. If you didn't or didn't, all this is allegedly, and that's why that's going across the screen. So what facts we do know is it was not a teen, but a 28-year-old. It is a white female, and she's a former student of the school. Those are the facts. So what I said just earlier, the T word, that's alleged until we find more information. Okay, guys, I'm just searching for more updated information. Let me put on some music for y'all while I'm doing this. Let me do that. We investigating. We're investigating, so hold on. Okay, guys, I found something. It's not her family. But I just want to show you guys something interesting that I found. Okay, y'all. So I found this on Facebook, and before y'all say anything, I'm gonna show y'all where this is from. So this is the site on Nashville that I follow called Scoop Nashville, and it gives you all the scoop information on crimes and all type of stuff in Nashville. So of course I knew I was gonna find something here. So I scrolled down, and so 4 hours ago they had made a post. Now, let me put fair use again because now we back to fair use. This is the information that y'all already know that I already told y'all. 3 children are deceased. 3 adults are deceased. They got their information just 4 hours ago. My information is correct because they have that it was a teen. So all this is not right anymore. So if we go into the comments, you can see, they updated some information. The reunification place, the shooter engaged with the police is deceased. 3 children are deceased. I mean, it said 3 adults, not just 2, because it's 3 adults, not including the woman. Because mind you, they thought she was a teen at first. And right here, they're talking about the female appears to be in her teens. But as you can see now, she was 28 years old, not a teen. And I'm just reading the comments, just scrolling through the comments. And I came across this picture that says, that shows, I came across this picture right here. I don't know who this family is. I don't know if this is the girl's family or nothing. That's not what I'm saying. But this picture was posted by Shannon Watson. It said, "This is last year's Christmas card from Tennessee Rep." And okay. So now we see what picture this is. Tennessee Rep Andy Orglass. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. A Republican who represents the district that Covenant School is in Nashville. And I just want to show y'all that this is the area that the incident occurred. Somebody just said, this is telling. This is not my information. This is just somebody's comment that I saw and I thought it was interesting. Okay, y'all, that comment I was reading, somebody thought it was 2 school shootings, but as you can see, that article had the school name wrong. So you have to verify your information before you speak on it. I'm still investigating, y'all. I'm looking for, because somebody told me they saw a picture of the suspect, and I'm looking for it. Yes, the only thing that's alleged was when I said the person was the T word, but all the honest facts is a 28-year-old white female that used to attend the school. Those are the facts. Now I'm looking for a supposed picture. I have some breaking news. I have some breaking news, y'all. The name of the shooter, y'all. I have the name. Hold on.
Be able to get to him, because now that we're confirming the name of the shooter, we're
This is
getting
the name
closer to
of the
piecing
shooter.
together how may be connected.
And whether that house on 3005 may be connected to the shooter whose name is Audrey Hale, that NBC News has just confirmed to say they went with that. That is the name of the shooter.
Still unclear what the possible motive would be in this situation, but police inching their way closer to more of a well-rounded picture about why or how this unfolded or the connection. Obviously, we're starting in the very beginning. She is a former student, and that's kind of as far as we've gotten. But again, in about 20 minutes, maybe even earlier, we do hope to hear from Metro Police with an update and on their investigation as it continues.
Yeah, we want to reset for you and let you know how this all played out. Police got the initial call at 10:13 this morning that there was an active aggressor situation at Covenant School. We know that they came to the scene as quickly as they could. We know that 5 police officers entered the school. 2 of those officers engaged the shooter. Now that we know 28-year-old Audrey Hale, we know that she was pronounced dead on the scene at 10:27.
And you're looking at video from earlier today of buses taking students away from the Covenant School to that reunification site at Woodmont Baptist Church. And we're told 6 busloads of children made that journey. And we saw in at least one of those school buses, our photojournalist witnessed an armed officer standing with a long gun in the front of the school bus. Just another show of trying to keep these children safe after what some of them may have experienced or been through. And we saw emergency responders, vehicles escorting those buses to the reunification site as well.
Those are things that as a parent, you don't ever want to see. You never want to see a police officer escorting children out of a school with a rifle.
Your heart breaks for every single family touched by this.
Yeah, we know that the shooter had 2 rifles as well as a handgun. Once again, NBC News is reporting that the shooter's name is Audrey Hale. We are trying to find out any shred of information we can about Audrey Hale. We know that she was 28 years old. We also know that she was a possible student at Covenant at one time.
Yeah, at one time, and trying to understand, what the more relevant or timely connection, if any, exists. We should also mention that we're following a situation near the 12 South neighborhood right off Belmont Boulevard at a family home. where there is a very hefty police presence. We're talking FBI, undercover officers, all sorts of police. Neighbors report hearing a series of explosions there, possibly flash bombs of officers trying to make entry into this home. This is a look at that house that we're talking about. And we're still working to confirm whether this is connected to the shooting that unfolded at the Covenant School earlier this morning.
Yeah, we have our chief investigative reporter, Jeremy Finley, on the scene there. He's digging into the questions about this house, who owns it, who lives there. He's asking questions right now. And once he has that information, we're going to be sure to bring it to you both there on air and online.
We have been following stories all day long from people who watched kind of the response unfold this morning, and the emotions run the gamut. Hysterical, crying. In some cases, people just couldn't get the words out. They're so incredibly upset to watch police respond and understand why they were responding to the school. In other cases, we heard people say, I hid in a closet at the school trying to escape the gunfire that seemed to be happening all around me.
Yeah, Lydia told us, our Lydia Fielder, who actually watches, she babysits kids that go to that school. She was speaking with the parents, and the parents said that some of the kids talked about they saw the bad man shooting the rifle from the school as they were hiding in a wooded area.
Lauren Lowry has been anchoring our field coverage for us today. And Lauren, looks like you have some.
Right. So we've been able to tell you multiple times today some of the things that were going on inside that reunification area. But I wanted to bring out somebody who was actually inside that room for hours upon hours upon hours. John Christ, you said you were one of the first people even in this parking lot and in that building. Tell me your connection to the families at Covenant School, first of all.
Yeah, my best friend moved here this year, and I have a lot of friends that go to that school, and I'm friends with a lot of their children and babysat them, and my best friend and their children now go to that school. So I was kind of, a part of getting them to the school, and I got the call this morning. I mean, your phone just starts going off from everybody. Just
what made you want to come here?
I don't know. I mean, my buddies would do the same for me, and they have. That you just go, it's funny because I don't even have my wallet. I have my cell phone, but I just grabbed, and I can't. And they said the fire station at first was where everybody was. And then he said everybody, and then I got messaged it was come to this church, and I was probably one of the first cars in the parking lot, and it was
chaos.
It was unimaginable.
Yeah. So you go in. Were you there before your friends even were inside?
Yeah. Yeah, well, they obviously, the parents would go to the school first, and then they was kind of gathering here, but everybody was walking in and trying to find out about their children, which is
no one should deal with that, right?
I'm not even a parent, and I couldn't imagine. And there was somewhere like they heard about two of their kids and one of the other kids they haven't heard from. There was so much going around, so many people saying so many different things, and a lot of them were like, you didn't want to I found out pretty early that my best friends and their children were okay, and you didn't really want to really be celebratory or you didn't want to be like, I relieved a little bit, but you didn't want to kind of brag or because there was people in there that were. One of my friends had found out about two of their kids, but not the third. And she goes, and she got a text that said her child's name and safe. But she was like, is that a question? Or is that like, are they safe? Or are you asking me if they're safe? And then it was like they heard, I hear over a text that your son is good. And it was just like, she FaceTimed, one of the teachers was in the bus or something, and she was FaceTiming with parents because it was like, and you could see my friend's daughter like through a window of a school bus, and she was kind of like, and I was like, I think that's her, I'm pretty sure, but everybody, it was, and then
Let me ask you this. When you think about today, because you've spent now hours, it's almost 4 o'clock, you've spent 5 hours here today.
Yeah.
What sticks out in your mind, do you think? What images will be the most difficult to erase?
I mean, I'm not even a parent, and I can't even imagine to. There was the police chaplain, and there was and you know, the chaplain is the one that is and it was a group of like 3 or 4 of them, and they were going around and like, they knew who the people were, that they had to tell them that their kids had passed away. It was just
that one's going
horrific.
on.
I couldn't imagine, and that to hear that about, and I just think to myself about what precautions I'm going to take. I mean, any reaction that anyone had in there was reasonable to me.
Visceral reactions. I wonder, was there screaming, and then was there moments of silence? Was there, what did you see?
There was a very audible screaming and crying, and that was a couple of times, and I didn't know specifically what had happened, either if someone had told somebody or because there was so many texts were going around that this person is okay, and I heard it's this, and some of it was now looking back on me, we're not that far from it, but was untrue. And it was like, well, I heard this and I heard this, and then to put yourself in that position where I saw her, she was trying to FaceTime someone, and she couldn't, like, I've been in that position, not in that position, but I've been in a car wreck where it's traumatic, and you could, like, I remember the police officer asking for my ID, and I go, there were so many people that were like, people had lost their keys, people didn't
grab their wallet, walked out without
the cell phone charger, very basic things that when that's something like that happens, you just, and everybody wanted to be with their child. And so we say, hey, my son is safe. We go, I need to see him. I need to feel him. I need to touch him. So there was a lot of parents kind of not necessarily breaking the rules, but like, I don't care. I'm going to see my kid.
I'm not standing in your line.
Yeah. Right. And a lot of there was an audible, they said that what the kids know is there was a bad guy that came to this. I mean, it's kindergarten to 6th grade. These kids are young. There's a bad guy that came to the school, and then the good guys came, and there was a long, spontaneous round of applause for the police officers and everybody was in there. There's so many different jobs from the Red Cross, and I mean, but I can't imagine ever being in a situation like that, and anybody's reaction, whether it's anger or sadness or disconnection, I get. Yeah.
John Crist, thank you so much for your time and for opening up about something that was clearly very emotional and would be emotional for anyone in that room. If you missed just the first part of John's conversation, he was saying that he was one of the first people at this facility when he knew that this was the place where parents and children were going to be reunited. He's best friends with multiple families that have children at the school, and he came here immediately to just be a support for them and was able to share just so much of what happened inside that room. I mentioned to you guys earlier, media is not allowed in there. Media is not allowed. And so we have to rely on accounts like John's to understand what is going on inside places like that. And we are just so grateful. So thank you so much for taking the time for us today. You guys, I want to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Lauren, thank you. We just heard firsthand from a witness what happened in that reunification hall. We heard how parents were reacting. We heard, he talked about the screams that he heard from parents in that hall.
And that went on for hours. It was not a slow clock process either. This was a long, grueling, heartbreaking process for people who were in that room, part of that. Let's go to Jeremy Finley, our chief investigator. He is live again on Brightwood Avenue near the scene of a home that appears to be under investigation. Jeremy, what can you tell us? What are you learning in the last few minutes here?
Sure. So this is probably going to become one of the most important parts of this story this afternoon. We are live here on Brightwood Avenue. This road is blocked off. It's well south. I'm going to swing over if we can and show you what's happening right now. So right now, members of the FBI, Metro Police, their SWAT team are all gathered in front of this house, 3005 Brightwood Avenue. According to public records, that is a home that is owned by the Hale family. According to NBC News is now citing multiple sources saying that the shooter is Audrey Hale. When you look at public records, Audrey Hale is noted as the daughter of the family who lives at this home, or at least owns this home. Here's what we understand, and again, I'm going to show you some video in just a moment of how this occurred. But what people in this area are saying is about 1:30 this afternoon, they heard a loud bang. And now I want to show you the video and let you listen to it as well about what they heard. Take a look. All right, that was it. That was it. You could hear it there. That boom is what people living on this street heard. They obviously came outside, and then we are told it was followed by two other explosions, sounding a little bit like perhaps a grenade going off or a soft grenade, something. And if you look at the front door of the house, it's a little hard to tell from our angle, but the front door of this house was blown in. Obviously, we now know that this house belongs to, according to public records, to the family by the name of the last name Hale. And again, NBC News, citing multiple law enforcement sources, are citing that the shooter is Audrey Hale. And according to public records, she lives at this home with her parents. Her parents own this home. What we are told is that when people came out to hear that loud sound, they saw SWAT team members running in and then exiting with a substantial amount of smoke coming out. We have been speaking to people here on the scene, including a young man by the name of Bowen. Bowen lives right close, and you can listen in really quickly as to what he had to say about what he heard.
I just hear a loud boom, and I'm like, what was that? And I was just like, gotta go see that. And then I heard another one, and I was like, okay, I gotta go check this out just to see what was going on, what was going on. Yeah.
So what did you see when you walked out on the street?
So the first thing I saw was just everybody walking up here, just seeing what was going on, and then a lot of SWAT people, big old cars, the FBI, it's crazy.
All right, so that was Bowen. Bowen lives nearby, just about a street or so over. When he heard this, he came outside, heard the explosions again, and then saw all the SWAT activity. As we said, we've been speaking to a lot of people out here who are good enough to kind of describe for us what they heard. Listen now to another witness that talked to us about what he heard.
That's what the police apparently said, that there was a connection. Apparently, there's a woman who lives there with a daughter in her 20s.
All right, another one of our very thankful Channel 4 viewers was able to give us that information. Also should cite the neighbors that gave us the video as well. We very much appreciate that because they are our eyes here on the scene to let us know. But again, if you're just now joining us, we are live on Brightwood Avenue. This is a street that has crime scene tape that is now blocking off both ends of this street. And you can see again the crowd of the FBI, the SWAT team, Metro Police officers, undercover detectives that forced their way into this home. One of the questions that I did ask the witnesses, did they see anybody leave the home when Metro Police or the SWAT team came through? Nobody said they saw anything. One of the witnesses says that he did speak secondhand to a police officer. That police officer was indicating that nobody was hurt in forcing their way into this home. So this is, as we say, going to be a very pivotal part of this story as police begin to unravel what happened with this school shooting. Again, we're in 12th Avenue South, which is not far away at all from the Covenant School where the school shooting happened today. We are still talking to people out here. The police are here. I did ask the officer who was stationed here, and he said all we can tell you is that nobody can go in. We did watch one woman needed to get in. She got an escort just to get to her home. So the people on this street are not going to be walking up to their home anytime soon. A lot of things for us still to gather out here, but for now, I'm going to throw it back to you, Marius and Amanda in the studio.
All right, Jeremy, we do want to come back to you because I have a few questions for you, but we do have some breaking news coming into the newsroom right now. The victims have been named in the school shooting, and among them is Catherine Kuntz, the headmistress of the Covenant School.
Yeah, I'll read you this tweet from Metro Nashville Police. The 6 victims fatally shot by the active shooter at Covenant School are identified as Evelyn Dykehouse, Haley Scruggs, and William Kinney, all age 9, Cynthia Peak, age 61, Catherine Kuntz, age 60, and Mike Hill, age 61.
And again, we are seeing a lot of people posting about Catherine Kuntz, the head of the school, at the Covenant School, tributes online. But we were trepidatious about sharing that information. But now that it's been confirmed with Metro Nashville Police, we feel safe sharing that with you. But our just to think, 3 9-year-olds killed in that school shooting today, along with 3 adults, including the head of the school, Catherine Kuntz.
It's hard to process. We've gotten a lot of information within the last half hour. We know the shooter's name is Audrey Hale. We know the residents of where the Hale family owned a home, 3005 Brightwood Avenue. We're trying to find out the very latest information that police are looking into. We know that they are supposed to have a press conference. They said about the 4 o'clock hour, so we're still waiting on that. And once they do have that press conference, we're going to bring it to you live.
We're going to keep digging to learn a little bit more about these victims that we're just sharing with you beyond what we've already shared. If we can go back out to Jeremy, he's at the scene where authorities are investigating the home of the suspected shooter, which it appears to be that home based on public records. Jeremy, have you had a chance to talk to neighbors about what they knew about Audrey Hale, who is apparently the suspected shooter in this case?
Yeah, man, it was the first question that I asked the neighbors. The young men who live here, especially, are probably in their 20s. They rent here. They did not know who she was. There was another gentleman who owned on this street, and he said that they were aware that the family did have a daughter, and that while he was standing here, he heard that a babysitter arrived, or someone that described herself as a babysitter, and this woman was very distraught to hear that the police were at the home of Audrey Hale and her parents. We've been combing through the public records trying to get a little bit more information. It looks like the Hales own, of course, this house. We are told that Audrey lives here. Again, this is if you're just now joining us, this is where police used grenades to get inside the house just after 1:30 this afternoon. But again, that's the kind of questions, Amanda, that I was asking too. What do we know about this family? And as you can see, we're still several houses, about 3 or 4 houses away from the Hales home. So we haven't been able to speak to people who live right next door, just people who live further down the street. And as we all know, the closer you live to people, the more you know them a little bit more. But that's all I'm hearing right now about her.
Jeremy Finley reporting live from the scene at 3005 Brightwood Avenue. Jeremy, thank you so much. We'll be checking back in with you a little later.
We're going to show an image of the head of school, Dr. Catherine Kuntz. This is her. She was the head of the Covenant School for years, looks like since July 2016, so almost 7 years, according to her LinkedIn account. And she is one of the 6 people who was killed at the school today, one of the 6 victims, one of the 3 adults. And we're also learning the names of the 3 children who were killed as well.
Yeah, that information just came in. Evelyn Dykehouse, Haley Scruggs, and William Kinney, all 9-year-olds, were killed in this incident, as well as Cynthia Peak, age 61, Mike Hill, age 61 as well, and of course, Catherine Kuntz, the headmistress there at the Covenant School.
And this is something that will affect a lot of people. I mean, we know that Mrs. Kuntz has been in this community for years. I mean, she went to Vanderbilt University back in 1982, according to her LinkedIn. So this is somebody with deep roots within this community who likely touched many lives.
Senseless.
Okay, so we are waiting on an update from police. We know that a news conference is going to get underway here at any moment. You can see the setup is underway there. So we're anticipating that this should happen any moment now. As we continue to learn a little bit more, we expect police probably will address the situation that Jeremy has been
Yeah.
covering for us on Brightwood Avenue, right there in the 12 South area, where we know the suspected shooter's family owns a home where there has been a lot of police activity. So we anticipate that police are going to kind of connect the dots for us in this news conference.
Yeah, hopefully we can shine a little bit more light on what we know, and like you said, connect some of the dots here. There's still a lot of unanswered questions. We know the parents that own the home were not there when police entered the home. So do police have contact with them? What they know? There's still a lot, like as we said, a lot of questions that are unknown right now at this hour.
And it may be worth going back to Jeremy if that's possible, guys. I'm not sure if he's still available. Okay, he's not. Just we had seen the amount of officers and authorities standing outside of that home kind of grow within the last hour. And so the question is, are they pulling evidence out of the house? Have we seen them pull anything out of the house? Jeremy has been there kind of watching everything unfold. So he can probably provide a little bit more clarity as the day wears on, if we can touch base with him in a little bit here.
We know it's going to be a massive investigation. We know Metro Police are investigating. We know that the FBI, the TBI is also investigating. We want to get you out to the press conference that's about to start right now. Let's listen in.
Press conference starts. When I get a timeline when that'll happen, I'll be sure to brief you on it. Okay.
All right. Sounds
Just
like
make
they're
sure everybody's
still
good
working
out
to
here.
get that underway. So hasn't quite started yet, but they're going to make sure that we know what the timeline is so that we don't miss any important information. Just to keep you guys up to date at home, what's going on kind of behind the scenes. Our entire newsroom is actively working to learn as much as possible about the suspected shooter, about what could potentially be playing out at that home in the 12 South neighborhood, where we know there's a lot of police activity, trying to get more information about the suspected shooter. And then also the names of all of the victims have just been released within the last few minutes here. So our entire newsroom is working to learn as much as we can about each of the victims in this case.
Yeah, 6 families their lives have been destroyed. Their lives have been just turned upside down by what happened today. We just want to update you. We know that the shooter, NBC News is reporting that the shooter's name is Dale. We know that that shooter is 28 years old. We also know that that shooter may have been a student there at the Covenant School.
And we're also hearing from police about how that attack was carried out by the shooter, that she was armed with 2 assault-style rifles, the hand made entry through a shooting up to the 2nd floor, continued with that shooting spree until she was eventually met by a team of 5 officers who went straight towards the gunfire once they showed up, engaged with that shooter. For those shots, 2 officers opened fire from that small group of 5 who were sent in to stop this. And we know that that happened within 14 minutes of getting the call for help. Police had made entry, found the shooter, and killed her. This, again, is the head of the school, the head of Covenant School, Catherine Kuntz, who we have just learned or confirmed through police is among the 6 victims.
Yeah, she was, like you said, the headmistress there. We also know 2 other staff members also lost their lives in this shooting, as well as 3 children. We can tell you that all of the kids that go to school there have been reunited with their families, which is a great thing. But a lot of families devastated at this hour. A lot of people knew the staff. They knew the headmistress, Mrs. Kuntz. They knew kids that were affected by this tragedy, and a collective hug for that community right now. A lot of prayer vigils going on tonight, praying for these families, praying for these communities that have just been rocked by what happened today.
This is some of the video of the aftermath of this situation. So we're looking at school buses carrying children away from the Covenant School to Woodmont Baptist Church, and you can see a lot of them coming to load up. I believe this is a video of them loading up there because they left the Burton Hills campus to go to the reunification site. And there were 6 buses full of children who were taken from the school, and with, in some cases, armed officers on board the bus with them to ensure their safety on that route. They were also escorted by law enforcement emergency vehicles. So it almost looked like a presidential motorcade of sorts, where they had multiple emergency vehicles on the front end of the school buses and then on the back end as well to just ensure their safety on that journey to the reunification.
Yeah, we're seeing video of families being reunited with their kids who have experienced just a traumatic day. You know, the kids are innocent, and a lot of innocence lost today.
Yeah. We talk about some of the victims. We do have all of the names of those 6 victims confirmed, both the 3 9-year-olds and the 3 adults. And so we've told you that we have identified one of the adult victims is Catherine Kuntz, the head of school at the Covenant School. We're learning, though, just by looking over the school's website, that the other 2 adults are not listed on the staff directory page for the school's website. So it's unclear, you know, maybe they were hired on later and they didn't have their names on the website, or maybe they were volunteers, or perhaps parents or workers who weren't necessarily faculty.
But rest assured, we are getting the very latest information. We're asking questions. We're trying to figure out what happened, trying to piece this all together for you.
All right, let's take Marissa live. I think she's standing by the news conference. Stand by. All right, Marissa, if you can hear us, we're ready for you.
Hey, Marissa, hey, Amanda, sorry about that. But yeah, we are just out here at the media staging area. We're waiting for a presser from Metro Police. They told us to be around 4 o'clock, but we're still trying to wait. We might be hearing, they might be announcing the names of those victims and everything else that they've learned up to this point. But the last time we talked with them, we heard from the TBI director, we heard from Nashville Fire, we heard from Metro Police, and they were talking about how they're banding together for this investigation. As we keep saying, there's still many questions here. We are starting to see some answers. We're starting to see those names come through. I know a lot of people have been waiting for those all day and the ages and everyone involved with this. But once we do get that information, we will bring that to you, and hopefully it'll be here in just the next couple of minutes. All right, Samantha.
Marissa Sulik, thank you so much. She's, as we said, we're standing by, waiting for that press conference to get the very latest information from Metro PD. I'm sure they're going to confirm the names that we already have of the 6 victims that have lost their lives.
Yeah, for people who are just joining us, an active shooter situation unfolded at a school in Green Hills this morning around 10 o'clock, 10:15, somewhere in that window. 3 children, all 9 years old, and then 3 adults, including the head of the school, were killed in that shooting. And now there is another scene unfolding that we believe is likely connected to that active shooter situation. Police have gathered at a home in the 12 South neighborhood.
Yes, it's 3005 Brightwood Avenue. We know there's a large police presence there. We also know that police used flashbangs to enter that home, kind of blew the front door off of that home. We know the person that lives there has the last name of Hale. We also know that NBC News is reporting that the shooter, the alleged shooter in this, is a 28-year-old woman by the name of Audrey Hale.
And that woman was a former student at the Covenant School where the shooting unfolded this morning. These are some of those flashbangs going off at the home where public records show her family either lived or at least owned. This is right off Belmont Boulevard in the 12 South area. And neighbors have been describing for us all afternoon what's been unfolding at this home. We know that the FBI is there, along with undercover officers, SWAT team members, making entry into that house. And we assume it's for the purpose of gathering and collecting evidence that could help answer some more of those questions in relation to the shooting.
That's what a lot of people have right now, questions, a lot of unanswered questions. You and I are both on our cell phones trying to get the very latest, talking to sources to figure out what they know. But right now, we're also still waiting for a press conference from Metro Police to give us the very latest on what they've found out about the shooter in this case, the victims in this case, and any other latest information that they have.
And we have heard from Jeremy Finley, our chief investigator, who has been digging into the investigation underway at the shooter's house. We've heard from him talking to some neighbors in the area that, yes, you know, a family lived there with their daughter, but not really getting a good sense for how that family was perceived or received among neighbors.
Yeah, a lot of neighbors really don't know right now, and a lot of neighbors might not be home right now, or even have put the connection as our neighbor is the one, or our neighborhood is being searched right now in connection with the shooting. A lot of people may not have put that together if they're at work right now.
Right, exactly. All right, Courtney Allen has been covering this all day for us, predominantly live from the scene. Courtney, what's the latest at this hour from where you are?
Marius, Amanda, the latest is that they have finally reopened the road back leading to the school. I'm going to step out of the way so you can take a look. This is the entrance to the school, Covenant Presbyterian Church. It goes up to the Covenant School. You can see a Metro Police car that is sitting there blocking actual entrance to the school, the driveway, and a Toyota Land Cruiser backing up now. They have not been letting anyone in or out of the school. And I know that that's a big question a lot of people have, is how the suspected shooter, which NBC News has identified as Audrey Hale, how she got in. I know that Metro Police are saying that she went in through a side entrance, made her way through 2 stories of the school, killing 6 people along the way. One of them, well, all of them have been identified now, but one we know was the head of the school, 61-year-old Catherine Kuntz. That's a big question that I know Metro Police are working to identify. Hopefully we get some of those answers in the upcoming news conference. But other than that, right now, there's not a lot going on in terms of families out here, right? That's something that we saw right when we got out here. Was this area was swarmed with families, parents driving to school, trying to make sure that their children are okay. Right now, the only on scene is law enforcement as well as the media. There's many news crews here trying to cover every single angle of this story, as are we, and we're working to get you the very latest information on this. When we have more updates from the scene, we'll bring it to you. Marius, Amanda.
All right, Courtney, reporting live for us at this hour. Courtney, thank you. We're still just trying to learn as much as we can about some of the victims. We know that police have now officially come forward and named them. And here are their names: 3 9-year-old children, Evelyn Deekhouse, Hallie Scruggs, and William Kinney. We also know that 3 adults were killed in this shooting this morning at the Covenant School. Their names are Mike Hill, Cynthia Peak, and Catherine Kuntz. We are learning that Catherine Kuntz was the head of the school. She's been there, according to her LinkedIn page, since 2016. And before that was at Christ Presbyterian Academy, all the way back in 1982, went to Vanderbilt University. So we're talking about a woman with deep ties and connections to the community whose passing will no doubt affect so many people.
A lot of people will, they've already started coming forth, expressing condolences and talking about how Mrs. Kuntz touched the lives of many, many people in this community.
Yeah, I've been getting messages on my phone saying, I knew her, my friends knew her, and what an incredible and special person. And we no doubt expect those messages to continue. If you're just joining us, we've been waiting for the past 15 minutes or so for this updated news briefing